Hello friends and welcome to an amazing game. I can't wait to bring you this one. It's a 4 versus 4. So much action in this one. It is unbelievable. So make sure you get yourselves comfortable. Just before we kick things off, I'd like to welcome Joshua to the patrons. Thank you very much for joining us, Joshua. There is another amazing game, kind of been like buses. Took me a couple of weeks to find one. You know, I don't like to bring you just regular junk, so doesn't always mean we get as many games as we'd like, but two of them amazing. So I'm going to show one of them here, one on the Patreon. Both of them really, really good. Both big team games. All right, today's lineup is a 4 versus 4 as we see. There's a bit of sound on as well. On Team 1, which is the northern side, we see these guys as green there. Team 2 down below there in pink. Team 2 are enjoying the advantage. These guys down here with a team score total of 4,658. The team, green team number 1 there with 4,433. What that means is that Team 2, Team Pink, enjoying a 225 points advantage over the entirety of the game, or about 56 points per player. So not entirely nothing. In fact, if this was a 1 versus 1 ranked game, I would overlay the player differentials there, and as you can see, with a 50-point difference, and of course it's slightly over that with 56 points, with a 50-point difference we would expect that player to win 57% of the time. So with 56 points difference, what's that look like? I reckon we could safely say 58% of the time Team 2 down below are going to win this one. So we'll see if the paperwork matches the stats then. With that, let's start with Team 2. So in the extreme lower east side, we've got ourselves in mustard there. Hooligan Gamer, UEF going first land. He's a 900 rated. Many first timers that we're seeing on the channel today, because of course some of these player ratings, we've got quite a wide gap between the highest and the lowest, so be a good opportunity to see some people for the first time. Either way, to his left here in khaki green, we've got ourselves Chancellor. He's a Cybran going first land, second air at 1400. As we continue moving towards the west, we've got ourselves Freedom-Cobra. He's making his way towards the mid there. He's an 800 rated Aeon player in electric blue. Last but not least for his team, we've got ourselves Hank, and I think we have been on for 2 minutes. HankTheW. I really like that name. Nice rhyme. I actually mentioned it to my girlfriend. I says, hey, have a look at what this guy's called. She always finds the funny names, well, finds them funny, and I do too. Yes, HankTheW there in Siren first, second, and third land. He is, of course, the highest rated for his team at 1,600. I think I maybe mentioned that once already. As we flip over then, Team 1 in the north, we've got ourselves the RoboticOne here in grass green at 400. Probably, if not one of the lowest rated players that we've ever seen on the channel, but that's, of course, you know, got to start somewhere, right? He's going UEF first, second, and looks like third, fourth land also. As we continue to his right in lime green, we've got ourselves AFK with some of the triple X. We see actually there's a plan here. I wouldn't like to guess, but slash colon greater than less than sign. We've got some sort of a wonky Jesus cross symbol in there. Either way, there seems to be a group of players that know each other. He's going Seraphim, in any case, rated 1400. So we continue on with the last couple of players in yellow. We've got Composite, an 1100 rated there, also going Aeon. First, second, probably first land, second air, third land. And last but not least, we've got ourselves Sakura-In-Bloom, the 1600 to balance things off for Team 1 in pink there, going UEF. With that, player introductions complete. As we zoom out, map size today is 17.5 kilometers, and if we have a little look on the reclaim values, well, there's quite a lot, isn't there? Of course, there's already been a bit of reclaim, but if we get a player view, we can get an idea. Currently, there's 145,000 mass on the field. We can see that tumbling away as engineers get into positions from all the players. So expect Lots of action and quickly. As we get towards the 5th minute, we'll have a quick look order-wise. Doesn't appear to have been too much action in the early stages. We do have a couple of bombers on the way over now to put that right. Chancellor says, yes, I'm on it, and here we go. First bombs away, first kill. A leading engineer there from Sakura-In-Bloom. I think we'll stick with Sakura. Now going for the first striker. Not always the best target in the world, but actually, I take that back as we kill the first tank. Buying some leading engineers then from Chancellor some vital time to get established. So taking out those 2 tanks. Maybe a waste of an early bomber in the eyes of some. But buying a bit of time for his expansion. Perhaps we can all agree it was pretty good. Bombers still going, dealing with tanks. I think he maybe got enough now. This bomber here with 5 kills so far. Maybe going to get a few more. We've got a huge scouting gun. This is unbelievable. 6 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen a player producing thus many scouts at 15 when we first looked there. Inside 6 minutes. Really wants to see what's going on, does AFK. Is of course facing the stronger player. And is certainly going to have to make up for the RoboticOne. Although RoboticOne is not doing nothing at all, is sending a lot of offensive units forward, predominantly the striker. Yeah, just striker. I thought, are there any scouts, any Lobos in the mix? Apparently not. Here we go. Chancellor's found himself some air. Parked not in the best place in the world. Sakura does recognize it and fly away. Gun upgrade in the mid there for composite. But all in all, as you can imagine, on quite a large map with 4 players, much reclaim, evenly spaced all around the map. Wasn't like there was one central place they all had to fight for. Priority has been on ecoing rather than the raids. Go on, RoboticOne, keep pushing if you've got the upper hand. Perhaps saw Hank was rearranging some of his other units there, and of course any initiative that the RoboticOne may have had has since been lost. Not entirely sure what could have been achieved there anyway. Maybe bagging himself. The engineer, of course, wasn't there when we checked that out last. We do have this central, I guess we can call it a plateau. It's got 4 entrance or exit areas or ramps. Not sure how critical that will be. We've got, what's this, 4... looks like 8 mass extractors on it. I guess you get attack missile launcher on the edge of one of those. You can threaten a much larger area. Certainly can tell that the openings is more reflective of the average skill rating in this game. Again, featuring 1136. So well into the Joe ratings. AFK not yet with the gun. Does get an overcharge. And a lot of supporting units there from RoboticOne. As you can tell by the scores and of course the team colours, this is not a ranked game, this is a custom. Freedom-Cobra got the sniper upgrade. Yay on both guns. Range and Wrath. Team 1 certainly seem to be in charge of the plateau at this stage of the game. Players of all colours with a presence on that plateau. Little run by on the east side, and Sakura making the switch up to Tech 2, minute 10. A whole bunch of pillars that have just rolled past the enemy commander. I can only assume that Chancellor did not have the ability to overcharge. He now does. Whether he did or not at the time, I assume not, or he wouldn't have let 5 pillars just roll straight past. Where you don't want to back off into a commander who does have the ability to overcharge. Chancellor not taking the opportunity to do just that. Not entirely sure what the decision was there to back off, but Sakura doing little more than giving his opponents time to get their defenses in order. You can already see the Tech 1 walled off point defense. We've got a commander back here, Hooligan. He's putting down Tech 2 point defense. As Sakura loiters near a commander, again, no gun, but does have the ability to overcharge. Although you want to be careful. If you can overcharge nicely, you don't want to let the numbers build up too much. All the energy storage in the world won't do you much good. Air fight in the middle. And just like AFK was ruler of the scouts early on, he's also in charge of the interceptor stage of the conflict. As we get towards 12 minutes, we'll have a little look at how the ecos are unfolding on this one. Overall team scores 2, or should we say 3 or 4% advantage there, favouring Team 1. So that is scores, of course, taking all into account. If we take a look on Reclaim, Team 1 certainly benefiting there, 10% more than their opponents on Team 2. And if we take a look at live mass incomes, also ahead there, a little more, perhaps more like 15%. So far, Team 1 is negating their apparent disadvantage, at least on paper said so, and controlling the central plateau and the economy. Although that may be about to change, as Freedom-Cobra, the first player from his team to really break out. We're also seeing some Tech 3 in and amongst the Aeon shields there. We've got the commander with the sniper upgrade, as we saw earlier on. A whole load of bubble shields. It's a very effective technique, this, providing you've got the energy to run the shields. The ability of the shields to, when you layer them up like this, just block the enemy from firing at all. Of course they fire, but into layered shields it just does nothing. I wonder if Freedom's objective is going to try and be to clear the entire plateau. Throwing flak into the mix as well. And there we go, the power clicks out. So for those shields to do anything, Freedom really needs to get that grid squared away. Is trying to deal that all the time. You can see us struggling a little bit there. Despite the number of engineers, it's taking quite a while to build. And I think I just heard a strategic bomber as we get to the 14th minute. A bomber rush indeed. 5 kills so far there from AFK. We'll follow this one around the field. Bombs away again. Beautiful target. The power there. We already know Freedom was struggling a little bit on energy. Requires it, of course, for these shields to be any good at all. AFK could do worse than try and send an escorting unit or two along with the strategic bomber. So far is flying around by its lonesome and not being upset. Some nice ground attack there between mexes, getting a 2-for-1. Perhaps we're going to get some more of that. No, we're not. He flies straight over the top. There's another Tech 2. Our bomber so far with 18 kills. Quick look elsewhere. We do see that Freedom's making headway through that central plateau as he moves towards the west. Another bomb's away. Very nice. 23 kills. I'm really surprised that we're not seeing some attempt from players to try and shoot it down. Of course, Hank here does have a few ASF just idly patrolling around. He's also getting taken apart with a whole bunch of Tech 1 bombers there. So, come on, at some point, someone somewhere is going to have to send some air. And it looks like Hooligan, the 900 rated, is the first to do just that. Meanwhile, AFK also thinks about sending his own air, just interceptors, to escort the strat. I'm really surprised I'm not seeing a few ASF. This strat bomber is certainly getting value for money. And finally, actually, we are seeing an ASF, but not from Hank. Sorry, it is from Hank. I mean, not from AFK, who is, of course, the player who has been controlling that strat. And there we go. In its dying breath, manages to get one more bomb out the door. That certainly was a very effective one. Of course, a map with as much reclaim as we see, it might not set players back as much as it otherwise would. Still a lot of mass on the field. Still got 47,000 mass. I do believe the bomber there died as a 2-star. Now Hank, with his ASF, finally able to clear out all of these annoying Tech 1 bombers that have actually caused a lot of destruction in this area. Hank was doing the sporadic defensive base setup. I do like that, rather than just lining everything up in one line. You see players do that too often. It's of course a very quick, easy way to get defense, but as you know, even if you have lined up 15 anti-air traces all in one straight line, very easy to take out. Bit of a breakthrough here thanks to Chancellor. Rhinos, look how many kills these guys have got. 4-star. Of course, the next one doesn't have any. Some Rhinos there with some decent veterancy. Finally met their match with the Percys there, but not before losing a lot of structures, and I imagine those were all Tech 2. And as we were suspecting, Freedom did indeed side to side, clearing out that entire central plateau. We see Composite thought about trying to come back in behind him, thinks better of it. Freedom here, wow, pretty much unstoppable is this little army, absent of any experimental. And I'd love actually to see what would happen with an experimental if you can line those shields up nicely and feed them in one at a time. So just as one shield's depleted, the next one rolls in behind it. Commander with overcharge. Well, bit of micro, it could be done quite nicely, I think. This time, a more significant push over in the west. Freedom teaming up there with Hank. Area. Wow, you see, this is where you're letting your point defense take damage while you've got units behind not doing anything. It's kind of, you know, move forward and try and get as much firepower out there. You know, fire superiority, as the military would call it, or retreat entirely. But this half in, half out haphazard, it's not necessarily the way to go. So Freedom there, coming out from away of his main body, well, his main squad there, overcharges into the harb, the real threat. And right there, that little annoyance, a little more than an inconvenience there for Freedom-Cobra, who are 800 rated. is playing really quite well. Certainly, I'm a big fan of his unit composition. Coming up to the 20th minute, then we'll have another quick look at the ecos. And look at that. Scores team-wise, neck and neck there. I think Team 1, Team 2, very, very close. Less than a percentage point away. Let's have a little look at the kill-bill ratio. Team 2 certainly having the advantage there. For every 1,000 mass they're spending on units, they're getting more kills for it in return. Team totals, Team 1, meanwhile, doing much better economically speaking. And so, according to the FAF scoreboards, take those two differences into account, the end result is more or less 50-50. So we see a huge number of aircraft there making their way north from Team 2. Let's have a quick look what that can see. Having an Omni sensor online, because a lot of these grey blobs are going to be turning from unknowns into knowns. Who remembers that phrase? There are things we know, and then there are things that we don't know, and there are knowns and unknowns, and then there are things that we know we don't know. Things that we don't know we don't know. Some American politician at some point. RoboticOne. Yes, he's got attack missile, but he's got no tech upgrade. He's got no weapon, or no gun, should I say. So the attack missile by itself, not always the upgrade that you want when you've got a whole bunch of bricks moving your way. So we've got to be careful here, as he doesn't get wiped out. He's also got a huge threat here from Freedom-Cobra. Surely if these guys want, this is it. The RoboticOne is, of course, the 400 rated player, and it looks like he may be about to go down unless there is a real bit of micro here from HankTheW to keep him alive. But I'm going to suspect there is not. Huge wave of bombers there, meanwhile, from AFK going after this huge shielded up squad that Freedom-Cobra has been wielding what feels like all game. RoboticOne, I'm not even sure he's able to overcharge these guys. There doesn't seem to be.
Commander under attack.
And answer is now 4,000 energy. The stock storage, and there he goes. The first player ejected. RoboticOne. I'm sure Team 1 will be too disappointed about losing him, although he's part of the clan, so perhaps I shouldn't assume quite so many things. On what's left of his base, which is very little, going over to AFK, his immediate partner. Another Strat doing the rounds, this time on a more defensive duty. HankTheW having none of that, sending his ASF forward. Yeah, this very effective force that was being used very cohesively. Freedom-Cobra suddenly allows it to spread out, and of course the shields not having, or not being able to protect units that are not in formation with them. Nice bunch of point defense there from AFK, and getting, what's that, 25-30 kills between them, buying them a little time. But here we go, composite just in time to save the day, bringing there a GC to bear. There's an awful lot of T3 units here. Where it's not T3, it's T2. How well will the GC fare? Well, as long as he can keep the GC moving and make so that both of these arms are able to hoover up units as well as the main laser. There we go. The GC may be able to make it. There are a couple of broadswords here as well, defending from Sakura, although one of them going down thanks to the flak in that pick and mix there that Freedom-Cobra had. The question is the GC going to level up in time? It does get 1-star veterancy there And then Freedom-Cobra decides to primary the GC. That was the right decision, assisting the bricks there from Hank. And GC goes down, having dealt the majority of the damage to that huge army. Of course, it still remains. We do have some point defense. AFK's commander's in the area, also unupgraded. And we've still got a couple of broadswords here from Sakura. Oh, come on, man. I assume AFK's got the ability to overcharge, and more than somewhat, he's going to need to get overcharging and quick. It's like Freedom-Cobra is making a primary on there on the target. Does he? No, he does not reclaim the fusion there. Commander taking a lot of damage, as well as neighboring units when that went up. Psych Hank, not so bothered with the commander, preferring to primary actually the experimental that's been constructed. Interesting decision. Of course, friendly fire ain't there. The strat landing a bomb right in the middle of the friendly anti-air units. AFK, well, no quite doubt about it. He could have been taken out if that was the decision. For whatever reason, HankTheW and Freedom-Cobra, I think we'll stick with Hank, rolls off the tongue a little easier. Hank, together with Freedom-Cobra, deciding not to go for the commander. And looks like the last 2 or 3 units that were broke through, finishing off there. And that is a major blow there for Team 1, who, of course, already having lost RoboticOne. AFK was left to hold the line. He's now got a major hole in his front door. And in addition to this, Hank from Team 2, look at this, is setting up with a whole bunch of units here. If we ignore all of those bricks, all of the offensive units, we've got a lot of engineers. We've got factories. We've got reclaim. We've got Tech 3 engineers over here as well. So lots of mass. This is, of course, where AFK really needs some assistance from his team. It's unclear if these guys are on comms or not. Quick look through the chat. Of course, the other team, I suspect they could well be. Just there doesn't seem to be much chat from Team 1. But you really need to deal with this infestation. And AFK needs some help. I mean, the engineers getting the reclaim is terrible. Do they even know it's there? Well, yes, they've seen there are factories. We do got some grey blobs on the radar as well. So we definitely need something to happen. Scouting run down south. And perhaps this is a glimmer of hope that's been needed. Team 1 and Sakura-In-Bloom, to give him his full name, pushing south. A whole bunch of Percys here. There are a few Percys in wait, point defense, and some bricks. Well, Sakura elects to back off. I think he could have taken that position if he wanted. Question is, how much or how many units would he have left to then exploit that advantage? Perhaps that was behind the decision to back off. Meanwhile, we've still got problems over here. I really like what Hank has done is he's split these units off. Yes, he's broken through, but now he's being super annoying. I mean, the irony is Sakura's got, or did have, a factory there as well. Hank decides to put a stop to that. But again, these are just individual bricks that have broken through. Really annoying. We've got more bricks around here. AFK, I mean, I don't know, he really, well, perhaps he's AFK, right, living up to his name, but he really needs to ask for help somehow, some way, shape or form. Unreal game, gents. This is going to get attacked next, says Hooligan. Seen a message there for Tactical Nuke from Hooligan. Gamer is, of course, from Tech 2, so he's going to be able to fire Billy's out should he wish. We'll take a look at that in a minute. So That's quite an army there. So many engineers from Sakura, who's managed to get himself an experimental online. Looks like the engineers... Well, there's a lot of mass there. Oh my goodness, these units are still running rings around the back of AFK's base, who is trying to re-establish. And there indeed is that Billy, launched from a hooligan. I'm just curious to the number of kills. Well, there we see 22 kills, 25,000 mass. So lots of high value destruction there. That's going to force Sakura back. We see the order there way, way back. There we see the wreckage. Of course, the Billy meaning that not all of the mass in the wrecks will be available. A lot of it will have been destroyed. And finally there, Sakura sending broadswords round to assist AFK in his overrun base. So we've got our first chicken somewhere. I like what Composite's done here. Moved across to assist AFK and his gap. AFK, who is the player behind the chicken. We've also got the GC from Composite. So as Hank is continuing to send units north to try and exploit this gap, AFK sending an experimental further south to cut it off. We've also got a huge air fight in the south central region, and that appears to have gone Sakura's way also. Seeing there lots of ASF constantly rolling off the line there from Hank, but they're not in any cohesive formation. Sakura, who's got the gunships, I think we're going to have to slow time and split the screen as we take a look here what the chicken is doing on the western side of things. And we'll keep an eye on these gunships here as they move over the top of Team 2's base. Team 2, of course, definitely having the upper hand of the last 5 minutes. But all of a sudden, the roles have reversed. We see there, Team 2 currently 600 mass, around 25, even 30% ahead of Team 1. Live values tick for tick, of course, thanks to this huge area that was carved out thanks to Hank. The broadswords here from Sakura. It's unclear if he has got target prioritization mode enabled or not. I suspect not. We see there as they go for the power gens. These are actually not mass extractors. These are just single Tech 1P gens surrounded with storage. And I suspect, just as I was confused there, so was Sakura. Probably thought he was going for a large, undefended area of mechs. Turns out not to be. But Sakura's got to be careful here. His ASF, of course, flying faster than the broadsword. And Hank, with an inferior number of ASF, getting shots on the broadswords there for free. I'm not entirely sure what the objective here is, but things could be going better, I think, for Sakura. Meanwhile, the chicken over here, 17,000 mass worth of kills so far. It does appear that it's going to get overrun now by bricks. We'll speed up time. And yeah, this is unfortunate here for Sakura. He does, I think, realize far too late what was going on. It appears that the broadswords have been fizzled out just as the chicken goes as well, and I think with that back to single screen. Still got a whole bunch of ASF down here from Sakura, who once again is losing isolated broadswords to an enemy who've got an inferior number of ASF. I think Sakura just trying to control perhaps a little bit too much sky. We'll go back to regular speed. Actually, this look at this. 12 kills. 15 kills. This is the Ion Storm, not the chicken. 15 kills. If I just pause, I hate pausing, but just a look at that. 13,000 mass has now died. So that, yeah, that plasma storm getting additional 13,000 power mass, 13,000 pounds, on enemy kills only. Of course, ever since the change, it does not kill friendly units. For those who have taken a gap from FAF, a Chicken Ion Storm is purely an offensive unit. Finally, Team 1, I was going to say, have secured areas around the back, minus a few scouts there from Hank. But once again, Hank pressuring on the front door as he comes through there with yet a huge reinforcement of bricks and AFK. Well, and I don't see anything there to stop it. Yes, he's got a lot of build capacity, but you're going to need a little more than that to stop a huge wall of bricks. You've got about 30 seconds to do just that. There is the ping, letting AFK know we has got bother. And actually, it seems to be some holes in intelligence there. I think Team 1 are an Omni short of an Omni. I'm not seeing what's coming until it's right on top of them. Chancellor looks like he's being adventurous for the first time in a little while as he pushes out on the eastern side as well. These are all Tech 1 factories. They appear to have been on reclaim duty. He's going to mop them aside. This is where it's really at. And AFK for the second time in 3 or 4 minutes is getting completely overrun. Composite for the second time in as many minutes, sending units across some harbs. These will be instrumental in keeping AFK alive, but I just fear he's going to lose so much build capacity once more. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have ourselves Chancellor moving in to the north. The Percy's here in full retreat from Sakura. This is an interesting decision. Who's also got 3 chickens, I suspect here's why. A whole bunch of whalers there from Chancellor in the fight. Finally, some ASF rolling up onto the scene. I wonder if it's going to be enough. I don't think it is to save the chicken. So yeah, an experimental there going down. I doubt he'll get a second from those whalers, but still a sizable force. A lot of bouncers in that mix. As we take a quick glance over there, finally, the problem there, thanks to composite, has been resolved. AFK will be able to rebuild for a 3rd time. I guess you could argue it's the 4th time, having initially done so at the start of the game. Ion Storm there, performing rearguard duties as Sakura scurries away and a new front line is drawn. There's a Chancellor there holding the line as we get to 35 minutes. This time we're seeing an experimental from Hank, the Monkey Lord. Not seen anything so far that differs much from bricks from Hank, and once again we're going to have to split the screen. As Hank presses into composite's position this time, and further to the east, Chancellor working together with Hooligan Gamer, pressing against Sakura's base. Sakura, again, we saw he has the 2 chickens. He's trying to wall up here. He's got Sam's up front, lots of shields. And what is this? This is a YOLO. I can't believe I've missed this at 35 minutes, 40 seconds. That is an extremely quick experimental nuke. That can only have happened thanks to the huge amounts of reclaim. That is air there from Hank. Hank's going to be aware that we have ourselves a YOLO. And here we go. Hank stringing in the strategic bombers. Let's pick up time. The only question is it enough? Lots of shields. Look at all the engineers assisting the Tech 3 shields there. Wow. Some of those bombers may get a second pass, but I suspect it's not going to matter that much. We've got the chickens here finally the monkey goes down there. Composite holding well. I think we're going to go back to single screen. This here feels the more important engagement. Percy's now trying to deal with the chickens together with the bricks. I like that they're trying to primary this one chicken here. It's getting far too many kills. Second chicken there. Also, you really need to take these guys on. Come on. It's almost dead. There we go. One chicken down. Hooligan. I guess he just didn't feel that he could break through and take on the YOLO, but the first experimental nuke is out. At 36 minutes, it's going to require 2 anti-nukes every single time. And Hank with another huge wave of strats. Round they go. Oh, they're actually going for the composite here. Some of them get shot down. Super Nuke makes a connection there in the south by Chancellor. Strategic bombers coming back round, and this is going to be it for composite. There it goes. Aeon Princess could be glad to have composite back as he'll gate out of this game. That leaves Team 4. Oh, sorry. Team 4. Team 2 with the 4 players still intact. Team 1 down to just 2 players. Hank with one of his huge scouting runs. Take a little look at the orders there. Kind of a signature run as yet another experimental nuke out there from Sakura. Sakura together with AFK. The silver lining, of course, for Team 1. The 2 strongest players remain. Now averaging at 1,500, 1 anti-nuke and 2. And I think that was actually a 3rd missile out there for good measure, although it could have just been that the icon was behind. Don't know. Pretty Gun Gamer says try again. As Hank seems to be roaming around with pretty much impunity here with his air. There seems very little that Team 1 are able to do about the air right now. They are, of course, lining up SAMs. Chancellor having a little stab at the base, this time with a megalith. Also a fatty in tow from Hooligan Gamer. And quite a forward-placed YOLO. Interesting decision to build it so far forward when you've got such a large base. And this right here, I can already tell you, is an defensive experimental nuke. A little look into exactly what we've got here. Megalith, 18 bricks. And in comes the nuke. And of course the Megalith, the real target there. See the bricks disappearing. And of course as the nuke radiates outwards, look at the hit points there vanishing. There goes the Megalith. Of course the broadswords won't fare that much better either. There's another explosion. I can only assume that was a Billy nuke. And we'll take a look up here as the strats taking a real dislike there to AFK. AFK with 2,400 hit points. One thing he does have is a lot of build power there with the Tech 3 engineers, providing he's got the eco to use it. And yes, he does. He's able to get that shield on very quickly. Tech 2. Seraphim Tech 2 shield is, of course, pretty good. Yet another experimental nuke out. Hank already with a huge 40 Cybran strategic bombers. I can't believe how quick this guy's able to knock these things out. There goes the experimental nuke. ASF tying up the SAM sites. Very good decision tactically, even if they do have nothing to shoot down. And I imagine there is only one target that is on Hank's mind, and that right there is the experimental nuke disappeared. Sakura-In-Bloom actually quite close to the explosion, losing half of his hit points as well as the shield. But yeah, the strategic bombers and their mission has been complete. The last experimental nuke must have been shot down. Huge banks of SAMs as Sakura retreats deeper in his base behind them. Oops, I don't want to speed up time. Zoom in a little bit, yes. 2 GCs and a chicken. So many Corsairs here. First GC actually has done very well for itself. Not the most amount of kills ever, but a huge veterancy. Second GC also, you're going to keep wanting to throw the chicken forward as AFK with a much needed attack versus Hank, who so far I don't think has seen an enemy unit come his side of the map. Chicken and GC remain. Let's slow time down. Let's get a little bit of a cinematic. Looks like we're just in time there to capture the chicken's death. As the GC continues venturing forward with a huge, unbelievable amount of air. As this GC goes down, we're going to see just what's left. GC is fully vetted up, nowhere else to go. And there we have it. Back to full pace then. So come on then, Hank. How many factories, ASF-wise, does it, or air-wise? 23 Tech 3 air factories. We can see there his live income, 85,000 energy per tick. And this here is one scary-looking Air Force. 117 Corsair fighter bombers, as well as 8 strats. He's almost not really bothering with ASF, as the Team 1 seems to really struggle in getting a hand. So we need a lot more SAM sites littered around this side of the map. In fact, we can see the orders from all over the place. Sakura forced into fighting the ASF before going for the strats. And it's a shame here from T1's point of view to see so many strats wandering around the back of their base with impunity. It's here that Sakura won that. There are some SAMs in AFK's main base, and Hank actually loitering in the area. It's not being as efficient as he could be, although he is controlling a huge percentage of the map. And here they come. There they go. Time seems to be dedicated for AFK, who's got 40,000 hit points on his comm. He's going to need every last one of them. Some very nice dancing there, and he manages to avoid the worst of the wrath. All of those Corsair fighter bombers, that would have been a guaranteed kill. Once again, dancing. Look at the amount of build capacity he needs. Those shields, 26,000 hit points. Sakura rolls into the scene with some much needed ASF, and with it, that huge squadron of combat air support. All of those fighter bombers taken out. Freedom-Cobra decides to move in. That is a drop and a half. I mean, what is this here? Yes, the ASF are taking a whole bunch out. We got 27 harbs, more now, 39. It's an unacceptable number of transports making it through for reasons best known unto himself. Sakura backs off before the drop's complete, allowing even more harbs into that area. Last time we looked, there were 39, I suspect now. Oh, God. Bringing the supporting units as well, the mobile anti-air. It's going to make it very difficult now. And yeah. That area with the Omni there belonging to Sakura is done. More drops all the time here from Freedom-Cobra. I think he's playing unusually well for an 800. Perhaps took him a minute or two to get into gear, but now he's in gear. It's a huge threat. Huge push on the western side. Many experimental units there from Hank. 6 Monkey Lords to be precise. A bunch of bricks with them. And of course this drop from Freedom-Cobra. Do just want to mention that we see a few sats down here from Sakura, so it's not entirely one-way traffic. We've got 5 sats dealing damage in Hank's base. And so it's that age-old standoff versus direct weapon fire. And I think we're going to have to split screen once more. As we take air fight as well. Just crazy the amount of action here. The chicken able to take out 2 of the monkey lords. 2 remain with the bricks. Chancellor continuing to push. We've got 3 fat boys in defense. So more units coming behind all the time. More drops all the time as well there from Freedom-Cobra, who's done incredibly well. I don't believe that. The chicken there. These ion storms been incredibly effective in today's match. I'm going to go back to single screen. Yes, there's still 1 monkey lord. We'll have to check back on that in a minute. There's just far too much happening on different parts of the screen. Don't forget, if you are enjoying the game, do give us a like. It does make a difference to the algorithm somehow, somewhere. Wow, Sats, really? I could have, but I didn't. Worth mentioning, every player did pick their faction, including, of course, Gaber, who is UEF. Doesn't like the way he's being killed. Now there is the Monkey Lord. Safe to say that this segment of the base belonging to Team 1 is going to be overrun. Question remains, how much damage can the 1 remaining Monkey Lord do? Look at that, the chicken there comes alive just in the nick of time. I was not expecting it to come on as quick as it did. I suspect Monkey Lord had already inflicted a lot of damage before deciding to move on. Come on, it's a 2-star Monkey Lord. There it goes. Not able to vet up and get any more. Still have this huge incursion from Freedom-Cobra right into the back of Team 1's base, tearing a hole straight through the middle. You can see there Sakura trying to chase them away from his base with the Fat Boys. Actually didn't stay in pursuit. I'm wondering if this is a mistake here. AFK's left to deal with this army. Yes, he's got build capacity. That's now all set into building point defense. AFK doesn't have the gun, but does have the ability to repair himself. And we see there, certainly got the ability to overcharge 174,000 in storage. And as you can see there, one-shotting these Tech 3 units. Look at this force that look overwhelming. Fizzling out. I don't believe how quickly this force is dying to a commander and a few point defense. Yes, the Seraphim shields paying for themselves thrice over. False multiplier preventing these T3 units actually getting hardly any shots on target. So the commander together with a few point defense, and that right there is a save. That's a save and a half. Unbelievable. I thought AFK was a goner for sure. I was almost thinking of criticizing Sakura for not chasing him down with the fatties, but okay, Sakura, you had your numbers dialed in. So see here, Hank on the left side once again pushing. Well, here's the trick, guys. If you're ever on a Neurox's map like this, just send bricks up through the west side, and seems that the other team's never able to stop. So take a look over here. That did, of course, have the experimental nuke, is now Sat City. How many Sats has Sakura got is the question. And the answer is 17! 17 Sats. Well, I think the answer is, can he infiltrate or not? Quick look on chat. He has 8 Sats. He's got a little more than 8 Sats, Hank. Hank thinks it's GG. Well, if you thought it was GG at 8, I shudder to think what you might think now. Does have Fat Boys, though, 2 at least, of course, defending. And here, once again, a huge lot of purses. You can see there yet another huge drop from Freedom-Cobra on the mini-map, assisting Hank. AFK right now is playing a hugely important role in absorbing land-based attacks from two of the stronger players on the other team. Look at all the assistance going into that shield there from Sakura, and very effectively so. Finally, it's cracked. Sakura with the two leading chickens there. A lot of kills between them. This chicken here is a 5-star with 71,000 worth. Almost all of that's going to be Percy's, if not bricks. A few Percy's getting through. Not many. One more there. Let's hope the friendly fire don't take out the Omni, because they're going to need that. See the fat boys there, I think, damaging more of the base than the Percy was. And indeed the Omni did disappear, but things left alive. Yes, I'm aware we could follow the sats around. So we get to the 50th minute. Perhaps we'll do that. We'll take a little look at what AFK is doing afterwards. Look at this. They're going after Hank. Hank's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1500. Hank, with his huge build capacity, manages to get a shield on. Just 1500 hit points remaining. That was a split second with all of these sats. Unbelievable. How many we got? 10 sats focusing in on position here. And I suppose if the engineers... How many engineers has Hank got? 83. Sorry, 183 Tech 3 Tech 3 engineers there. And they seem able just to keep the shield online and keep Hank safe. Just wondering, is that long-term via... It does appear to be. They don't seem to be able to get through. Well, there you go, guys. The UEF shield sat, even if you've got 10 of them, is defensible. And I suspect here Sakura... Oh, come on. Oh, he's still trying. He's still trying. Hank waits for it and then flies his commander out to safety. So we see here Sakura is chasing the commander down with all of those sats. I wonder if that is the best use of the sats. Clearly, if you can take the strongest player out, that's something. I mean, if he can just fly around and you don't have the Air Force to deal with, I'm not sure. And it looks like Sakura's in agreement and is now deciding to go for something else. So as we get to 51 and a bit minutes then, let's have a little look overall. So Team 1, that's what they can see, of course. Sakura sat strong in the corner there. AFK somehow holding on despite being overrun for the millionth time this game. He's got strats this time from Chancellor as well as ground forces. And of course a hugely important role, because all of this fire is going to be directed at Sakura should AFK fall. And this is buying Sakura time to deal with other targets, but really needs to crack on with it. I'm not sure what I would go for. I'd probably be looking for fusion reactors. Of course, the enemy's going to grind to a halt pretty quickly without them, unless they've had time to go through or go for the support commanders with the energy. So we finally see some Tech 4 artillery, some standoff weapons from the other side. Chancellor there, 3 kills so far. They're going towards the sats. I thought that we saw Scathis, but it is of course the fat boys. I think they were firing at a scout that's landed. And so Sakura is going to have to shield up as well. And Hurricane Gamer defeated there. I think Sakura using those sats. Once we got 9 of them over here. And so it's taken 52 minutes to defeat the first player from Team 2. Still have this huge army over here from Freedom-Cobra. I don't understand how AFK is able to hold on, but somehow he is. We've got Hank once again with an experimental, once again with bricks. If AFK can somehow manage to hold, he may just buy the time for Sakura to do what he needs to do. I mean, I just wonder, is there an objective for these? Yes, there is. And it seems to be going for strategic missile defense. Must have a nuke in the clip then. I might say personally, fusions may be more viable. One of the sats tumbling out the sky there, that can only mean that there is some breakthrough here at the other side. It must be that standoff artillery. Come on, Sakura, shield them up. I guess, yeah, is moving engineers into position to do just that. AFK not out. Guess we could follow the sats round the entirety of the game, but here's Chancellor. He's been picked up. The shields have collapsed. We just need one more burst here from Sakura. There it goes. And there's Chancellor's hit point. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night. Sakura brings it back to a 2 versus 2. Come on then, guys. Bets are on. Who do you think is going to get this one? As we go back to full pace. AFK. Looks like he's just been taken out as Freedom picks him off there. Just caught that. What's left gets hundred. Handed over there to Sakura. Whoa. Crazy camera work. My apologies. It's the one thing when there's cliffs and valleys involved. Camera can go crazy. Somehow the base manages to defeat the Monkey Lord. We've still got a whole bunch of halves, but actually these point defense and the Seraphim shields may just... Again, I just feel that is crucial to give Sakura the time. Is of course covering his base with fat boys, trying to build more all the time. Let's see what the economic situation... Well, actually, it's not bad. If anything, Sakura needs more energy. So here we go. Just to make things nice and simple for me, we've got all the pinks. All the pinks against one another. And here is a push. What have we got here? 57 purses. Plus some dressing. Huge wall attack missile defense. I guess Sakura had seen one Billy too many come in his direction. Huge number of Tech 1 engineers. And that right there, I don't know if that was a nuke launcher or a nuke defense, but it is no more. And once again, a huge drop from Freedom-Cobra flying across the map. Can Sakura hold? You see there the huge squad of sats moving over. Let's have a quick update how many Sakura controls. 22 UEF defense sats. I'm just thinking if he used a small number of them defensively, I mean, he needs to get some of these broadswords covering as well. Of course, the chickens that have worked so well for Sakura, yeah, the Iron Storm's going to help out, but they are no more. So the next wave of Percy's going to have an easier time. Yes, there's a whole bunch of fatties. They're able to lay down covering fire. Let's have a quick look elsewhere. Of course, Sakura's mind may well be elsewhere. This time, both Freedom and Hank are both in transports flying around the map. It takes the SAT a long time to get there, and there is so much air and so much SAM coverage. And Sakura does not have the ability to go air. What can he do? Where are all the sats? Well, here they are. He's got to dismantle them economically. He has to. He's got to go for the fusions. Oh, here's a Maver. Only just come online. Looks like we were in time there just to see the first shot. Certainly doesn't have any kills yet. And Sakura is interested, as he should be. Look at that. How many sats are just in this area? 20. 20 sats. They broke through. The shields have gone. Sakura says Mava's played for long enough. It got 3 shots off. Not sure if any of them got a kill. There were certainly no kills at the time we looked, but there will have still been a couple of shells in flight. And yeah, I gotta be honest, guys, I'm getting the feeling, despite the overwhelming number of sats, the base from Team 2 is just too well established that yes, the sats are going to be able to kill almost anything they go near. The exception will be, of course, transports that can outrun sats. Now, that said, if you ground fire the sats, the transport flies through it, and it is, of course, curtains. But Sakura's got very little air, and it can immediately be destroyed by a superior air force and all of those SAM sites. He would have to identify where the enemy commanders were, maintain the lock. Do you see Freedom-Cobra making a move here? For reasons not clear to me, Sakura-In-Bloom left the safety of his base. I'm not sure why. Perhaps it was a misclick. Either way, he's making his way back to safety. We see Freedom-Cobra moving in. There are Fat Boys here to cover together with Ravagers, but even so, still don't think should chance it. If we take a little look now at his sphere of influence, very small. We're on a tiny percentage of the map. We're at 58 minutes, 2 minutes away from the mark of epicosity. It does appear that the last of the harbs are going to fizzle out. Yes, we've got a Fat Boy there as well to provide cover. And Sakura reaching safety. We've got engineers covering his retreat, putting down Ravagers as well. Mass-wise, Hank way ahead. Almost 2,500 mass per tick. What is this? A huge strat run. Let's slow time down because this could well be the final blow. I think we'll stick with the this view. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. My bad. Pause. Come on, I need to get this right. There's something really bad with the terrain here. I'm going to have to try and lift the camera up just a tad. Look at all those bombs. There they go. All of them raining in. That really was an insta death. The fully shielded up UEF commander dies instantaneously. And with it, just a few seconds shy of the mark of epicosity, HankTheW wins it. And I don't know how many sats that we had there. Something like 22. And the player, come on, how many days of the week does a player with 22 defense sats lose? And the answer is, of course, not every day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, friends, supporters of the channel. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And of course, a huge thanks to everybody that helps support the channel. Until next time. Looks like my outro animation has somehow screwed up there. Never mind. I'll see you then. It's a wrap.